Hey campers, George here, back in the man cave. Yep, check it out, another sharp and shiny from these guys. Never seen one before, so I got one. So, let's check it out. So what I'm talking about here is a knife from CJRB. I've seen them around, not that much, so I thought I'd check them out. This one, let me get it for you. This is it here. The CJRB Feldspar folding knife. Kind of unusual. Still working on the color here. Still not sure about it. But let's have a little closer look at it. First off, CJRB. Who are these guys? When I saw it, I thought that's a pretty cool looking knife. You can see it here. I wanted to know more about them because I didn't know anything about them. So I thought I'd check it out. I kind of like the look of it. You know me. I'm traditional, and this is by no means traditional. This is certainly modern. Look at that. Look at the tip on this thing. So CJRB, who are they? Well, I looked them up, did a little research. Kind of complicated, but I think I got most of it. CJRB is owned by Artisan Cutlery. Who are they? Well, they are owned by a Chinese company called that. Can't pronounce it. But it's called That Knife Company. Say hello to Mary. So CJRB is kind of a subsidiary of this company called Artisan Cutlery. And I looked them up, and they are owned by that company I told you about. And they're out of China. Well, they set up CJRB in the United States. And they wanted to produce a knife, a typical what they call EDC knife, that would be high quality at an affordable price using the latest materials available, I suppose you'd say. And I looked at them, and their prices are right, I want to say, on the bubble for me for how much I'm willing to pay for a folding knife, an EDC folding knife. I looked around, I looked at all their different options they have, and they have a bunch. You can see them here. And they're all called different style. This one is called how I'll pronounce Feldspar or Feldspar. It's a series of knives. And they have a whole bunch of these. They have 20 of them, 20 different series of knives in all different styles, makes, models, materials. And they have all these, and they set up the company in the US and started offering this knife. I believe this was back in 2018. And I say back in 2018, it's not that long ago. They set the company up in the US. I thought I'm going to have a look at the knife, and I chose this one because it was probably the most affordable. And like I said, this is the Feldspar. Now, it's interesting. First of all, looking at the handles, you can almost see it there. Can you see these? It's almost see-through. It's like they've added no coloring or anything to it. This is the base of the material that they use on their knives. It's interesting. It's got an interesting feel. It looks smooth. Look at that. But it's grippy. It feels grippy. And it has the thumb studs. You can see them there. Has a pocket clip. And it has this basic shape to it. And, using the thumb studs kind of works okay. It's not perfect. It probably needs to wear in a little bit. I haven't done anything with it. It came in this box in a plastic bag, very basic. When I pulled it out, I tried to open it, and it was hard to flip it open. I couldn't really get it to flip open easily. You see there, it does that. So I cleaned it up. I got I put some WD-40 on it, which kind of improved it, but I'm still struggling with it. It just seems a little tight, but if I give it a good flick, it comes out. And you can see it there. And on the blade there, they have the name. And now looking at this blade, that's unusual. And if you're saying D2 steel, you're right. It's D2. It's not a smooth, I don't know what you would call it, but it looks very nice. The style of blade, well, what that blade shape is, I'm not quite sure. It looks like a spear point or a slight drop off a drop point. But it comes to a really sharp point there. Can you see that? Unusual. Not your normal that I'm used to. Certainly not on a traditional knife. Now, in the description, when I bought it, it says a drop point. So they consider this a drop point. And really, if you look at it, it's not a flat spine. It does drop off. And then it's almost like a plain grind all the way down, except you've got a slight edge there. Can you see that? And it does have a choil. It's a pretty big choil. It comes right up against the ricasso there. And you've got 2 studs here holding it together. And you've got your pocket clip and then an extra stud there. Weight-wise, it feels pretty well balanced. I kind of like it. It feels okay. I'm not sure about that, where I have it there. I think I'd have to move that to the other side. And I believe you can switch your clip over to the other side. Because when I grab it like that, I would prefer to have the clip here rather than sitting on my hand here. It looks well made. It's very, very clean. You know, they obviously, when they were done with it, before they ship these things out, they give it a good cleaning. It is a liner lock, and you can see that there. And that it's in there. There's no movement at all. So it's a good, so far, so good. It's a good knife. How sharp it is, well, we'll give that a test and see what we can do with it. It does have the double thumb stud, so left or right-handed. The release on it, pretty easy. Closes up. It doesn't come out or anything. It doesn't lock anything. Now, talking of this, the main pivot point on it here. They call it a smooth ceramic ball joint. It's kind of like a bearing. Ball bearings made out of ceramic, and it is very smooth. It's just this initial getting it out is a little sticky, and you got to give it a good flick to get it out. But I suspect over time, I looked at it and I couldn't figure out why. And then I looked in here, and I'm going to try and show you this. Can you see it there? There. You see there's a little, it's almost like they've got a little bump there, which holds the knife when it's closed. It clips in there, so it won't flop around, I'm assuming, because it sticks in there. And I think with time, that's going to wear a little bit, so it'll be a lot easier to get it out. It won't stick so much. And that click you're hearing, I believe, is the blade clicking onto that little, whatever your notch or whatever you want to call it, the little bump. Very nice. So ceramic, pretty cool. Let's have a closer look at the specs. So like I said, the blade is D2 steel, and it's a drop point. It's nice. It's a very sharp drop point. That's all I can say about it. Clean blade. I believe it is 3 inches long. So let's see. That's what they say, 3 inches, yeah. And look at that. They actually say it's from the tip to where the choil is here is 3 inches. So I like that idea. That's your working part of the blade, and 3 inches is the measurement I'd like to know. 3 inches there. The thickness of the blade, and you can see it here, 0.10 of an inch, which is not bad. It's a good, healthy blade. It's a nice size. I'm impressed with this. You know, for me, this is new to me. This style, the manufacturing, and it's all new to me. I've always been very traditional. You know me, I'm a Rough Rider guy. I like a traditional blade and traditional styles of knives and that. This is new. And you know what? Got to stay with the times. So I want to see what they got out there, what all these people are bragging about, especially these new knife companies. And if they're producing stuff like this at a reasonable price, I got to look at it. What's a reasonable price? Well, I paid that much. Like I said, it's right on my bubble. My bubble's around about $30 for a folding knife. And this just gets under there. So that's not bad. I would have to say the majority of the knives that I looked at were in the $30 to $40 range. And even so, you know, this you can see that I got to work harder with getting that out there, is a well-made knife. I like it. How long it'll last, how well it'll last, I don't know. I don't know how sharp it is. For that kind of money, it's not bad. The handle is G10. Reading up on them and looking at their website, and I'll put a link for you below to go and have a look at their website. They say all their Their knives are G10 handles, D2, and they were talking about a new steel that they're coming out with. Like I said, CJRB is a subsidiary of another company, and that is Artesian Cutlery, who's owned by another company. And yes, they are Chinese. The difference is what they did here was they opened a facility in the US, which I think a lot of people will be happy with. You know, when I buy something from China, I'm thinking, am I going to get the support that I need? And knowing that I can deal with a support company in the US, I feel a little bit better about it. I got no complaints with this knife. I like it. It's not a bad knife. Kind of reminds me of something like maybe a Kershaw style knife, something like that. Very nice. How sharp is it? I don't know. Oh, by the way, the handle color, they call green. It's very light. You can see the light shining through the light when I say it's a very light green. See? Yeah? Not bad. It's not perfect. I wonder if I strop it. I'm going to strop it quickly. Let me just give it a couple of swipes here. I'm learning to keep a strop right here by me. I'm not very good at it, but I figure if every time I show you a knife and it doesn't look like it's doing a good job, I can strop it, and if I do it enough, I'll get good at it. That's the theory. Let's see. Let's see if that made a difference. See what my stropping either fixed it or destroyed it. Looks like it destroyed it. Well, you know, hey, it is a better cut. It's cleaner. It's not so, not as rough as the other one was. So, I mean, it comes pretty sharp. Can I make a little curve with it? Yeah, I can get it to curve a bit. So it does come sharp. Let's cut a piece of wood and then try the paper again. My favorite piece of wood, the wood tester indoors. And I'm just going to cut this piece of wood. And it gets in there. Now, you know, for an EDC knife, wood is probably not what you're planning on cutting. Probably string, paper, boxes, opening boxes, that sort of thing. Just your general use. Clean it off. Let's see if that wood did any damage. Let's see how we go now. Still good. You know, and it's not soft wood. It's, oops, that's me. Ignore that. And that. Oh, Lordy. Here's another piece. Hey, paper's recyclable. So, you know, I mean, still cuts it. And that's after whacking around that piece of wood. So it does pretty good. Well, you know, it's D2. I'm a D2 tool steel guy. I like blades, D2. I find I can do a pretty good job of sharpening them. Well, I can kind of, better than the other ones. What can I say? D2. Just overall, it is very clean, very smooth, well made. And you know what? It's a clean knife. It's probably one of the cleanest knives I've ever got from the factory. I always look inside and then I look in to see at the pivot point here. And I suspect the pivot point is clean like that because they're using ceramic roller, ball bearing. And they're going to wear out, I think, a lot quicker than your regular just liner, your pivot point. So there you go. Something different. Look at me. I'm getting all modernized here. Scares me. The CJRB Feldspar, something spar. And I believe this is the small. I think it comes in different sizes. Now, I did show you that picture with all their different model series that they have. And I haven't really looked at those. For each type is a different style blade, I think. And maybe the handles may be different. I'm not sure. And like I said, it's right on the bubble for my budget. I have another knife on order that I've seen a lot of. And that's, you probably heard of them. I'm pretty sure you have. Civivi. And I've seen them on Amazon. I've seen them around a couple of places they a little bit pricey for me, but I did find one that I'm willing to pay for. I'm willing to pay for any knife. It's just, you know, my wallet won't open when I try to get the money out. What can I say? Don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back with another sharp and shiny. I think spring's starting to come in. In fact, today, I know it is because I was like, I'm ready for picking up some fly fishing stuff. I needed some new line and leaders and getting all prepared to go fly fishing. Whoop. Going to take my kayak out and do some fishing on the local lakes here. Hopefully have some soup. Well, try and catch anyway. You know me. Just say. Thanks for watching. And you all be safe out there. Especially with these guys. Take care now. Thanks for watching.